How's it, everybody? Aloha and welcome to Uncle Junior's DIY and any kind of stuff. In today's video, we're going in the kitchen and we're going to tear apart the kitchen countertops and replace them. We get three countertops you got to work on. The sink base, a little countertop that sits right next to the stove, and then we got an island. On the island, we're just going to replace the Formica, and I'm going to show you how to do all of that. Okay? So, hang with Uncle and you will have some fun. And also, gang, this is going to be a two-part video. And the only reason why is that I didn't realize when I was tearing apart the kitchen countertop that how bad the water damage was. Okay, so in any point of the video you feel like you already know it, you can always fast forward, okay, and then go to the part that you need help with, okay? And my video is all about being informative and educational, okay? So, hey, come hang with Uncle and let's get dirty, let's do some hard work, and it'll be fun, okay? Aloha, and see you in the kitchen. Okay, first things first, gang. We're gonna shut off the hot and cold water angle valve. So you turn that valve all the way till it's tight and the water not coming out. And get a wrench and remove the hot and cold water lines coming from the faucet above. Okay. Also, you're gonna have to remove all these P-traps, all the plumbing pipes, and this disposal. And previously, I showed you how to remove the disposal. Just remove them. You don't have to remove the sink drains on either side, left or right side. Just leave the sink drain because we're gonna put new ones. Okay. Now to start off this demo, we're going to have to remove these backsplash. Okay, all the backsplash got to come off, okay, in order to get the countertop off. So, you know, I'm not going to spend time showing the whole demo, but you get the idea, okay? So after the demo, this is what it looks like. And like I said before, I didn't realize how bad the sink base was. The whole bottom cabinet was pretty much particle board. So when water and moisture gets to them and aging, it just disintegrates through time. So basically, the owner didn't want to spend X amount of dollars to replace the whole thing because they would be replacing all the other cabinets around. So being that the frame was made of wood, you know, it was easy for me to replace what I took off. So that's what I did. I put on new studs, that faceplate there. I put on a new faceplate. I'll show you how I did that. But basically, the bottom part of this sink base was also sagging. It was kind of like concaving towards the middle. So I had to lift it up. You know, lift it up and then put some studs and some angle brackets, and you know, pretty much came level. So that being said, I installed all the new studs, like I said, and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like after I install all the new studs to support the new countertop. This is previously what it looks like, and after when I was done installing the studs, this is what it looks like now. Same on this side. Remember previously, there's a picture of it. It's pretty much gone, and this is what it looks like now. Remember when I told you how this cabinet was sagging towards the middle? I installed all these L brackets and installed a new stud to lift it up, and then that L bracket will hold it up. So I had to do that for the whole front, actually. As you can see, a new stud and L brackets, so it's pretty much level, you know. And make sure you level everything out. You know, you won't have to do this. I mean, this is one part that I didn't expect to happen, but it does. And then when it does, you just gotta fix them. These brackets I installed here is all for the countertop, because when I put the countertop on, it's gonna sit down and you have to lock it in place. Okay. And here I am bringing in a countertop. And man, at my age, being in my mid-60s, this countertop was heavy, you know. But it'll get lighter as soon as I start cutting out the sink base. But this is a dry fit to make sure everything is level, and that's what I'm trying to do. And then right here, this L-shaped corner where the water pipes are, we're gonna have to cut the countertop to make the thing fit and snug perfect. So here I am. I'm just trying to measure where the cut is to make it L-shaped cut, and then go ahead and cut them up, and hopefully we get it all flush. So now let's lift up this countertop one more time and do a dry fit, and hopefully everything comes out snug and at a perfect angle cut. There we go. And it looks good. I kind of got lucky on my first crack at cutting that angle. And now I noticed there was a Romex cable hiding back there that prevented me from getting a tight flush back there. So what I did was I had to route that area and cut a little notch, and that's where it sits. Now I can push it back and it'll flush perfect against the wall. Don't worry about some of the chips at that L bracket area, that L-shaped area, because we're gonna cover it with some backsplash. Okay, now for this faceplate, we're gonna make a new faceplate, and we're gonna use 3/4 inch plywood. Okay, cut them up and to fit and install them. So I had it all cut up two sides, and I'm just securing it with some Craig holes on each side, and should look good. And this is what it looks like. I also put a new pan on the right side. Okay, it's time to cut the hole for this new double sink. Now by doing that, when you get the sink, come with all the instructions and the template also. Just basically just trying to outline the size of the sink, the top of the sink. And once I get that outline, I'll grab the template that came with the sink, and use that for the inside of the drawing that I did, or the tracing that I did for the sink itself. Because you need to get at least 3/8 from inside of the top of the sink face, yeah? And I'll show you why later. But anyway, this is the template that I'm using, so I'm just drawing the line, making sure that the template is inside of the drawing I did of the sink itself. Now we're going to start cutting the hole, and I'm using a small circular saw because it's faster than using a jigsaw. But I will use a jigsaw after. That will be for the corners. Kind of dusty, so I hooked up my vacuum and cut most of the dust. I made all my straight cuts with the circular saw, and then I went with my jigsaw. This makes it easier to use a jigsaw to catch the round corners. So I'll catch each corner, and sooner or later, the whole thing will just drop. So now let's do a dry fit with the countertop upside down. Okay, we just check to make sure that the cut was enough to drop that sink in. What I'm looking for is to make sure that the cut that I did was snugging up against the railings of the new sink. Now I'm flipping it over, and we're going to install the sink. So now we're going to do another dry fit with the countertop facing the right way, and just checking to make sure that all the edges of the top of the sink, that lip, is flush against the countertop's surface. Okay, now you see this is what it looks like under the sink. Okay, this is the dry fit. But you see that slotted rail that goes around that edge of that hole I cut? You want to make sure that rail is as close and snug as possible when you cut that hole. Because when you secure it with the brackets, you want to make sure the brackets can bite the under part of the countertop. You see how those rails are? Really tight and close. That's what you want. I take out that sink, and we're gonna start to put some silicone sealant around the whole perimeter of the new sink, because you want to make sure you get a watertight seal. These are the brackets I'm talking about. Okay, You have the screws and you have the brackets. I'm just separating these brackets to make sure I have enough to go around. Because this is what it's going to look like when you're under there. You're going to slide it underneath and screw it on, and it'll bite the edge of that countertop edge. And here I go with the sealant. You want to be very, very generous with this sealant. It doesn't matter if it squeezes out while you're tightening the sink, but you want to make sure you get a watertight seal. So I'm being very generous about it. So you go all the way around the whole sink perimeter, and don't forget the corners. The corners are so important. You want to fill up the corners as much as possible. Okay, so now I put the sink back in with the silicone, and I'm going to have to go underneath this thing. So you go underneath, and I'm going to put only on the left and right side. I'll put two on the left side and the right side, and just hand tighten. Okay, this is what it looks like, those brackets with the screws. Just hand tighten on each side, just to get the countertop snug to the countertop. Just hand tighten, and you go with the screwdriver, and again just go hand tight with the screwdriver. Okay, and you do both sides, left and right side. So once we get that seated, that countertop is securely on the countertop, we're going to flip it over and we can work the rest. It's going to be much easier to work from the top. So that's why I don't install the sink and that's why I don't install a countertop without the sink, because it's hard to work from under the sink. So now I'm just installing the rest of those brackets to the front and the back of the sink. So I'll put 3 in the front, 3 in the back, and you got 2 on the left side and 2 on the right side. And again, you just want to hand tighten. Then you go with the screwdriver, and then you want to go around the whole perimeter until each of those screws are hand tightened, and make sure you don't over tighten. Okay, and this is what it looks like when it's all done. So here I'm going to start scraping off all the old caulking from the old Backsplash, because the old Backsplash had a high backsplash, and this new countertop, as you notice, the backsplash is lower. So I didn't want to I just wanted to do a good job by repainting and covering up those exposed wood. So that's all I'm doing, is scraping off all the old caulking, and I'm going to get my sander and start sanding the thing down and paint it, and then we can reinstall the countertop. Okay, so now I'm cutting strips for the new backsplash that we're going to have to install, and I'm using that cutout panel that we used to cut out the sinkhole. Here I am cutting the strips. Need a few of them, and this is what it looks like. Don't worry about the edges, I'll show you how we cover that. Okay gang, we've come to the end of part 1. Thank you so much for watching. Uncle appreciate it. Aloha, and see you in part 2.